In this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden, the Infinite Tsukiyomi continues, but believe it or not, we actually return to the canon storyline of Naruto. At least for the first 10 minutes of this week's episode, with the second half being the beginning of this Itachi side story arc, otherwise known as Itachi Shippuden, which is based on a novel series. First, let me just say that this is the best episode of Naruto Shippuden I think I've seen since last July, which was the battle between Might Guy and Madara. And the reason this episode was so good was because there was attention to detail, there was good animation, there was good artwork, and all of the stuff in the first half of the episode, which was basically all just a showcase for the Infinite Tsukiyomi, was handled infinitely better than the story arcs that preceded it. I'm talking about all of the short scenes with all of everybody's favorite characters from Leaf Village imagining what's going on in their own worlds. We even get to see what's going on with the three Sand siblings, and I have to say that I think that Kankuro's Infinite Tsukiyomi story was probably my favorite. It was really short-lived just like the rest of them, but damned if it didn't look awesome, because as you know, Kankuro himself is a puppet master. In his Infinite Tsukiyomi world, he imagined that his puppet, which was original body of Sasori, transforms into this ridiculous, oversized mecha robot. That scene kicked so much ass, and the rest of the first half of the episode is dedicated to a lot of the other characters, like Hinata, who's just completely in love with Naruto. You have Kiba, who decides he's going to become the Hokage and announces a brand new holiday dedicated to dogs, and tells all of the ninja from Leaf Village that they indeed should get a dog themselves. Shino's was also really funny because he discovered this gigantic, monstrous-looking bug creature, which he is just happily riding on. Then, of course, you have the character of Shikamaru, where in his world, Asuma is still alive, raising his baby with Kurenai. His parents are still there. His father is still alive. You have Choji, who is still basically just being a glutton, imagining that he has a very cute wife who's going to cook for him. You have Ino, who's imagining that Sasuke and frickin' Sai are going to be fighting over her. Again, very perfect for her character. And then, of course, you have the Green Beast Rock Lee fighting against Naruto and Sasuke and gaining the affection of Sakura. It's a really great scene getting to go around to all of these people. Tamari wanting recognition from her younger brothers. You have Gaara imagining that his family is still alive and he actually has like a regular, normal, happy family life. This was the best way to do Infinite Tsukiyomi. These short little stories that they can get through really, really quick. Not to mention, you'll notice that the animation and artwork during the Infinite Tsukiyomi scenes look really great. Especially that one scene where you have Tobirama, who's actually trying to save all the people who are wrapped up by the giant Shinju tree. Whenever he cuts them down, immediately another vine will just come down and immediately attach to them, so they're going to have to get a little creative in how they're going to stop the Infinite Tsukiyomi. Not to mention, of course, you still have Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi who are hiding out underneath Sasuke's Susanoo, and Sasuke is in incredible deep thought right now. Like, he doesn't even care that Sakura is worried and she doesn't know what to do. Same thing with Kakashi. He's way more concerned with what his brother was actually telling him when he finally passed away. And of course, this is a nice segue to the beginning of the Itachi side story, which goes back to when Itachi was very young. Sasuke hadn't even been born yet, Orochimaru hadn't left the village, and they were in the middle of this massive ninja war, which just kicks off with this action scene with all of these ninja from Leaf Village, from the Rock Village, from Cloud, just completely annihilating each other, and the animation here is really fantastic. The scene where Itachi actually walks up to one of these wounded ninja and decides to help him out is really intense because the ninja just notices that he has this side pouch on, which just so happens to have one of those kunai knives in it, and he starts to attack him, but Itachi's father saves him. It's a really bleak period for Konoha Village, but things start to pick up a little bit more when Sasuke is born, which is something that Itachi is very happy about. He's sort of trying to come to grips with the concepts of birth and death, and you can really see that that's affecting him a lot. In fact, I would say that my favorite scene from this episode was the scene where Itachi was training. He was standing on top of this mountain, and he decides to jump off the side, and I'm guessing at this point in the series, he doesn't quite know how to put chakra into his feet so that he can run on walls and run on water and everything. And Christian is shooting at me with a fake gun. Damn it! You can get them at your local Walmart.
Got him!
As I was saying before I was just interrupted by Christian, Itachi is going through this intense training where he's jumping off the side of this cliff, and he can't put chakra in his feet so that he can run on the walls and water, so he's using his kunai blades to actually try and stop them by sliding down and basically doing all these amazing movements as he's like literally free-falling around these crows. This is also where he's starting to develop his sort of relationship with this giant murder of crows, which is always going to be a very big motif of Itachi as well. This episode was pretty damn good, I have to admit. Like I said, best episode I've seen in nearly a year, and that's a pretty damn big accomplishment, and I'm actually really excited to see what they're going to do with the rest of this Itachi arc. It looks like it's going to be very interesting. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? We got back to the canon for about 10 minutes, and it was really satisfying and it looked really good, but honestly, even the filler stuff, which is beginning with Itachi, is really nice. It's well animated, it's got some great movement behind it, there's some really great direction and some amazing shots from this episode. Not to mention, it was just a very ominous episode, especially the way that it ended. The build-up to it with all of that violence, and then finally the birth of Sasuke, and then that final moment at the end where Obito finally shows up at the village. This, of course, signifying that we're going to see the big attack from Kurama, the Nine-Tailed Fox, and all of the events which deal with Naruto's birth. I don't know if they're just going to skim over those, or maybe we're going to see a little bit more of what Itachi was doing during this time. All I know is I can't wait to see it. Another thing that I really loved about this episode is that they firmly established that Itachi is kind of an antisocial person, and you could kind of tell that from his personality. Aside from the scene where Itachi was training on the cliffside, my other favorite scene this week was where he was hanging out with these kids, and there was this one girl who wanted Itachi to hang out with her and her friends, but he just decides to keep on walking because he's just so in deep thought about the concepts of birth and death and trying to decide what it is he actually wants to do with his life. And these kids just decide, hell, we're gonna start bullying Itachi. We're gonna throw rocks at him Forrest Gump style. But this ends up actually biting them in the ass because the scene where they're constantly throwing rocks, he actually ends up grabbing one while his back is turned. He turns around, throws the rock, which ends up hitting another rock, deflecting into multiple other ones, which completely freaks them out. Of course, this is a nice reference to his kunai training, but damn, that scene kicked all sorts of ass. So, what more can I say? This was a really great episode right here. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. For the most part, on the technical side of things, animation, artwork, atmosphere, everything worked in this episode. I really want more of this. I am a little afraid, however, that the more we get into this Itachi arc, it is going to start to slow down and maybe the quality is going to degrade a little bit. But who knows? The sky's the limit as far as I'm concerned with this one. And supposedly this arc is going to be about 9 episodes long. Don't quote me on that. Supposedly it might go into May. So we're not going to be here for too long, but let's just endure just a little bit longer and enjoy this arc for what it is, because it's only a matter of time before we get back to the main material. Also, eagle-eyed viewers will probably also notice that they made one minor alteration to the opening in this week's episode. The final shot, which was originally Naruto, then it was Sasuke, now it is Itachi, which of course is very fitting for this arc. So, fantastic episode right here with some really great moments, a return to form, not to mention the beginning of what could possibly be one of the best filler arcs from the entire series. And when I say filler, it is still somewhat debatable because this is based on a novel series. However, they are novels which were not written by Masashi Kishimoto, so their canacity is kind of up in the air. But as far as I'm concerned, this is an official part of the Naruto series, and if you want to see more on the expansion of Itachi and the things that went down in his past, then check out this arc. I know the Itachi fans are definitely excited. So I'm going to give this week's episode right here a 4 out of 5. A pretty fantastic episode. I would give it a slightly higher score if only there were some parts where the animation and the artwork was a little sloppy. That being said, this was a fantastic episode of Naruto Shippuden that Naruto fans should definitely check out. But if you did watch this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. What did you think of the Infinite Tsukiyomi stories at the beginning? Did you have a favorite? Was there one that made you laugh? And are you excited for the Itachi side story? What do you want to see from the rest of this arc? Make sure to tell me in the comments section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!